today's video, we're going to go through the Appointment AutoPilot Funnel. This is going to allow you to take a lead from a Facebook lead ad, put them into your Active Campaign account, and then push them through a series of stages to get to the ultimate goal, which is to buy your service or product. We're going to start by kind of covering the basics of what we want to do from Facebook, and then we'll kind of go into the Active Campaign setup and how that works with YetiText. To begin, we're going to have a Facebook lead ad, and we're going to want to set that up with name, email, phone, and then an SMS opt-in question. I'm going to go ahead and show you an example of what that looks like as a finished Facebook lead ad. So right in here inside of Facebook's lead ad testing tool, this is just an example, and this is also a great way for testing out your Facebook lead ads once you've built it. But inside of here, you can see that we are collecting the name, the email address, the phone number, and all this information is going to be pre-populated by Facebook when your lead clicks on the ad. And then we have also this question, which allows us to get an opt-in from the contact for receiving a text message. So this is a simple yes or no drop down, and so they can select yes or no, and then that's going to be used inside of our process inside of Active Campaign. So once we have generated our Facebook lead ad, the next step is going to be to set up the Facebook to Active Campaign connection. So I listed here as Zapier as one option, as a mediator tool that can take them from Facebook and put your Facebook lead ads into Active Campaign and add them to an Active Campaign list. From putting them into Active Campaign, we'll be able to take them through each stage of the Appointment AutoPilot funnel. Within the Appointment AutoPilot funnel, there are 4 stages that we want to put a contact through. So when they are first added from Facebook into Active Campaign, we want to put them onto a stage that sends them the video. So this video is going to be the educational aspect of your product or service. They'll help answer any questions that they have before going further. So the first stage is going to be trying to get them to watch that video and participate in your call to action at the end of that video. The second stage is going to be for them to actually watch and perform that action. The action that we want to push them to is to schedule an appointment. So near the end of your educational video, you want to deliver them an option to text the keyword to a phone number using your YetiText auto chats, and then have them schedule an appointment through that auto chat. Once they have scheduled the appointment, we're going to go ahead and schedule some pre-appointment actions. And then once they've had the appointment, the last stage is that we're going to follow up with them and try to close the sale. So that may happen on the phone call, but if it doesn't happen, we want to make sure that we have a follow-up stage that's going to allow you to follow up with them and try to close that sale. All these stages are automated in that as a contact makes action, they progress through and through till they get to the very end. So this helps immensely in order to automate the entire process of getting a lead to a sale. Hopping into Active Campaign, you can see that we have created 4 different stages for each of those. They're labeled slightly different here, but you can label them however you like. That makes sense to you. So the first stage is going to be that we are putting the contact into Active Campaign, and we're going to look at that deeply. We won't dive into too much on the remaining stages other than specific aspects to each of those stages. So the first stage is to push the content. We'll go ahead and click into push the content. And this is where we're going to be sending them the video that they requested from the Facebook lead ad. So you can see that we are applying a tag, Facebook lead ad, to the contact. And then we are validating the contact to see if we're allowed to send them a text message or not. So right here is just the very basic setup of what we want to have happen. So in here, we are using a custom field inside of the contact record, which we have created, which is called allow text. So you can label that however you'd like to make it easy for you. And then we are using yes as the validation for this condition. So if the contact matches this, they are allowed to receive text. Then we're going to put them onto a automation path inside of Active Campaign that will include text messages from YetiText. Down this no path is where you'd want to send just the email only. Since we are still collecting the email address from the lead, we can still do everything with an email only perspective. Whereas down the yes path, we can send both text and email, given that we've had that explicit opt-in from the contact from the Facebook lead ad. So this is a very important aspect of the autopilot setup within Active Campaign. The next aspect that we're going to cover is how to move contacts from stage to stage. We're going to take a look at stage 2, which is the push to schedule. This push to schedule stage is triggered when a contact goes through and watches the content that we have provided to them from stage 1. So once they begin watching that content, and we are tracking them either with video tracking or by them texting in a keyword, then the next step is going to be for us to start the second stage, and then we're going to want to end any remaining steps from stage 1. In order to do that, we're going to go ahead and click the Add Action button just above the Conditions check, and we're going to go to the Conditions and Workflow, and we're going to go ahead and End Other Automation Action. And from there, we're going to go ahead and click Stage 1, Push to Content is what we're going to end. So when this happens, this indicates that someone has come into Stage 2, they've exited Stage 1, and now we've prepared to validate them whether they're allowed to receive text or not, and then send them down the appropriate path of receiving a text message or receiving an email. So as you continue to follow the same process for each of the remaining stages, it's going to allow a contact to move flawlessly from stage to stage without having overlap in actions within each of the stages. When it comes to the appointment stage, timing the actions is going to be the important aspect. So you can use any service you'd like for scheduling that appointment. Calendly works great if you've already utilized Zapier for the lead ad into Active Campaign. Zapier also has an integration with Calendly, which makes it very easy to put that contact into Active Campaign and update the contact fields with the date of your appointment. So when it comes to that, what we want to make sure we have is an appointment date field and then a friendly appointment field for putting in merge fields. So I'll go ahead and go to the list page inside of Active Campaign. We're going to go ahead and click on Manage Fields, and then we're going to want to add a new custom field, which is a date field, and we're going to put appointment date. And then the second field we want to have is just going to be text input field, and we're going to have this be a friendly appointment date. And what I mean by that is that most scheduling services, when they have some sort of API integration with either Zapier or Active Campaign, will have some sort of friendly looking date format, such as Friday, November 27th, or whatever the case may be. They'll have some sort of easy to read format for the date rather than just the numbers with forward slashes with the month, date, and year. So that's what I mean by that. But the appointment date is going to allow us to schedule the actions, and then the friendly appointment date will allow us to put that in as a merge field into our emails or text messages for notifying the contact. Going back to our automations, looking at the stage 3 appointment scheduled stage now, we're going to add our end automation action from stage 2, which is going to stop that once they have entered stage 3. We're going to process the same conditions validation to make sure that we are allowed to text this contact. And then we're going to schedule the pre-appointment text messages. So important to note with Active Campaign, currently they do not support specific time-based actions. So if you have an appointment at 2 p.m., we cannot schedule text messages to go out based off of that time. So we can only do it based off of the date. So inside of here, we're going to go ahead and click the action. We're going to go ahead and click the wait action, and then we're going to do specific conditions are met. So this condition is going to be, we're going to use a custom field and use the appointment date time. And then based off of the current date, we're going to either have it be before or on that exact date. So in this case, what we'd like to do is send a day before a reminder and then a morning of reminder. So we'll set that up right here by going ahead and clicking plus. So the language that Active Campaign uses for using the current date of the field is going to be plus. So what that means is if we go +1, that's going to be the day before the date that is inside your appointment date field. So if it's on November 27th, then +1 would mean that this is going to be November 26th when this action is set to run. So keep that in mind when you are setting up your time-based actions. Then the second condition that we want to run is to make sure that the time of day is, and this will be the pre-appointment, at just noon. So that way you can send it at noon, and it's kind of generally in the correct time zone, depending where you are at in the United States or Canada. So go ahead and schedule that out, and then it's going to run the day before your appointment at 12 p.m. So you can use that same general process for creating any timing that you like, so that when that time hits, it's going to send the pre-appointment text messages or emails for your appointment. Up to this point, all three of our stages have been fully automated based on contact's action that they're taking. The last step, which is the push to close, is going to be something that's going to be manually done after the appointment is done. Once you have had the appointment with the contact, the next step is going to put them onto the push to close the sale stage. So we're going to change the tag that starts this into an appointment completed text. So that text is going to indicate that they have had an appointment with you, and this is going to be the manual process that you apply to a contact in order to get them onto that step. Again, then the next thing we want to do, just in case there are any remaining steps that you have from that appointment scheduled stage, is going to be to end that automation if they're still on that automation. So once you've done that, and you've had marked them as appointment completed, you can follow that same conditioning process, validate them, and then send your text messages and or emails in each of those yes/no paths. So this is kind of the general process for making sure that you have an automated flow for each of those different steps. If there's any further questions as we get into this when it comes to more advanced tracking or breaking these out into further steps, as you can do that if you want to be more specific with the different actions that the contact is taking within each of these steps, feel free to reach out to a member of YetiText's support team. You can chat us right inside of our application or give us a call at 858-800-4552. Thank you.